now, Mr. Serling.
Next on the Twilight Zone, the distinguished Sir Cedric Hardwicke lends us his considerable talent along with the very accomplished Miss Constance Ford. They appear in what can most aptly be described as one of the shockers on our schedule. The play is called Uncle Simon. And this we submit as a relative you've never met before. It's a story with a final curtain I doubt anyone can predict. Next on Twilight Zone, Uncle Simon.
I don't know what to make of this trailer. This is very vague for Serling. Usually he goes into a little bit of elaborate well, not elaborate detail. We get a little bit more, but he's being very held back on this occasion, I feel.
Also, there are no props. I know Dan didn't get to see it, but it's just him talking into the camera, which is... So this episode is... polarizing might be the wrong word. Some people have it in their worst of... and they say they skip it. Some people say they really enjoy it. Obviously, I'm the latter, or we wouldn't be watching it. I think this is one of the funniest episodes of Twilight Zone, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. So take that for whatever you will.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this, but since you already tipped your hand at which TOS we're watching, I thought for sure you'd pick the Marriott Hartley episode of Twilight Zone. But
no, we've already done that one. You weren't there for it,
did?
but
Okay,
I gushed and gushed and gushed because that is my favorite episode ever.
Well, what do we usually do? Do we It's been a long time since we've done one of these. Do we do a pre-rating?
We pre-rate the trailer, and then we'll watch it, and then I'll tell you why I picked it afterwards.
I'm going to have to... I can't remember what it stands. I'm going to have to give this a 5, because I feel like this was... I mean, as much as I love Rod Serling is a great guy. Like, this didn't do anything. Like, I was like, okay, Rod Serling is introducing his TV program. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it's just not the same without him like appearing out from behind some piece of scenery or whatever. So, yeah, it's just ambiguous enough. But I'll also give it a 5. I think we gotta go right up the middle here without knowing much more.
Okay, now I happened to watch it recently. Big shocker. I'm gonna give this a 7 because I find it. This episode's kind of like the final frontier where I'm laughing the entire show, but it's objectively not a great episode. So I think we'll have a lot to talk about afterwards.
Okay. Well, we're going to go off and watch it. You can join along and home if you have it. It is Season 5, Episode 8, Uncle Simon, for those that didn't get that. And we are going to start it. So spool up... Oh, I haven't said this for a while. Spool up your DVD players. Find that small child that runs the VHS and tell him how to program the entry for The Twilight Zone, now on at 5 p.m. on ABC or whatever it was in America. I don't know. And we are going to start. Let me just check you guys are getting the right audio, because I'd hate to duplicate. So if I do... sorry, just give me a second. I just need to tweak something.
A little rusty there, Idle.
Sorry? Yeah, do you know
this
what?
used to be flawless when we did this every week.
Did it?
Yeah,
did
it was
really?
absolute professionalism every single week.
Okay, I believe we are ready. So we are going to start in... let me just make sure I've got the time code there. Where's the time code? There it is. Okay, we're going to start with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get Serling.
This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Yes, welcome. Ooh, wrong screen. Welcome, everyone, to the Holodeck, our journey through things that are not Trek. And yes, it's been a little while. Hello, everybody. We're getting back in the swing of things. Joining me, and we have just watched...
We're just a few swingers here. Yep, that's right.
We have just watched Twilight Zone Season 5, Episode 8, Uncle Simon. How do we start these things? Where do we start with this episode? How about... I know, Otto, you've got all the facts and figures, but I'd just like to read out a few choice insult snippets that I happen to know.
You got the list.
I have a few. I didn't get them all, but I have I just say, like... So, for those that don't know, that haven't watched the episode, there is a robot and a person in here that like to insult the Lady Barbara, and they use some very colourful language that I'm going to... I think I have a favourite one, which I'm going to leave to last, but I think I do like my angular turnip. You are my angular turnip. I like you peanut-natured sample of nature's carelessness. That's a good one. How about you lint-headed clod? You torpid lotus eater, which is... You bovine crab, and my favourite one, I fucking chuckled when I heard this, like, you look like you wear clothes under your clothes.
That's a good one.
That's very good.
I will be using that one.
Hold on, I'll keep going. Spindle-shanked carcass, a night-crawling imitation of the female gender, scrounging female ape, thin-lipped, toothpick-legged conniver. So
wow.
I told him I can just imagine Rod Serling sitting there by candlelight on his typewriter, just cranking out these insults.
And of course, the ultimate one, calling her a Lebanese barber, was just out of line.
Take us away, Otto. What do we know about this episode?
So the actual reason I picked it, or maybe it morphed around having watched this recently, we got a little minor appearance from actor Ian Wolfe, with an E, on the Wolf. And if you look him up, his credit, he has over 300 acting credits. This guy, if you've watched anything from the 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s, you've probably seen him in a lot of stuff. And after this, we'll be watching a Trek episode of Star Trek with him in it, too. I know him from, and stars may appreciate this, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. But he's in a lot of stuff. He wasn't spectacular in this. He was a little bit flat. But he only has a few Twilight Zone credits, and this one I thought was pretty funny. So we went with this, and I knew Dan would at least appreciate a good robot.
Yeah, sure.
This has to be...
we have to have the Return of Automaton actually feature an automaton. So, right.
No, I think this is the most stereotypically classic robot I have seen. This is like when you paint pictures of robots from the 50s and the 60s. This honestly, my first thought was this the precursor to Space 19? No, yeah, Space 99. No, what did I say earlier?
Lost in Space?
Lost in Space, that's the one. I think it's Space 1999, that's Jerry Anderson. Lost in Space because of the robot and the danger, Will Robinson, that kind of thing. It very much looked like a classic Doctor Who-esque, we've got all these bits lying around, let's put them together, and, we'll put the curly thing on the side and the flippy little things on the front. It was a quality classic robot. Almost Satan's robot-esque, but not quite as plain.
So my one piece of guessing game for you guys. Robbie the Robot. He has a name, by the way. He has dozens of credits over the decades. Robbie the Robot was built for $100,000 for the 1956 sci-fi classic Forbidden Planet. Yes.
And that's the
it
same
took
robot
three people
from
to
Forbidden
operate
Planet,
it.
is it?
Well, it was made for that movie, yes. Now, he resold in 2017 for, can you guess how much money he sold for?
Oh man, 2014 dollars. I'm
8 years ago.
gonna go for 1.5 million.
2014 Forbidden Planet was probably.
You can say $1, and if he goes over the amount, then you win.
Yeah, true. I'll go for a modest 500,000.
It sold for $5.3 million.
Wow.
To an avid collector, no doubt. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so notably also he appears differently. I guess the mechanism that was in the glass dome had broken. It was very complicated back in Forbidden Planet. So by the time it got lent out to this set, they had replaced it with a coffee can with some hoses stuck out of it. But yeah.
So that does explain why I thought it was a very generic
coffee
robot.
can-headed automaton!
Yeah, it's why it explains why I thought it was a very generic robot, because it was the generic robot. That makes a lot more sense now.
It kind of reminds me of if you've seen those old-fashioned diving bells where they're so friggin' massive, it looks like they weigh 1 million pounds. He looks like a mechanical Michelin man made of tires or something. So,
we're
a little out of practice.
We are well out of practice. I forget what we do now. Let's talk about Barbara. Go on. Oh, you got something to say?
Barbara. Bring me hot chocolate, Barbara. I told him while we were watching, I've got a neighbor named Barbara, and every time I see her, it takes everything within me to not go, hello, Barbara.
Let's talk about Barbara. I definitely got very much Kathy Bates Misery vibes from her. Very psychotic at the start when she's talking to Uncle Simon. I thought, like, is this going to be a horror? Because I did not expect the robot at all. Even though Auto teased it to me, I'd completely forgotten about that. And yeah, I thought we were going to get some sort of like weird experimental murder project. She was going to snap, and she kind of did snap, but not quite in the Kathy Bates horror torture way. But I did find this very, I don't know, almost a bit depressing with what happens to Barbara, really. Because she starts in complete animosity to her beloved uncle, who she's there serving and not running away with the circus for some reason. She's sort of just there, and in the end ends up serving a robot doing the exact same thing, but in a scary kind of way. She just kind of loses all her willpower, which is like one of my biggest fears. And that kind of is a bit Twilight, like just kind of going like, oh, I'll do it because I can't fight anymore is horrible. Yeah. I kind of hate that, and that kind of is more scary than the robot side. That's the more sci-fi Twilight Zone-esque part of this episode, is her being defeated into sort of abject slavery almost.
Yeah, I've got some notes on that later, but it was really kind of off-putting in the beginning how much she was chewing the scenery. The actress, was really just going for it, but it made sense in the end. So you had to have the kind of difference in expression. I think that the problem that I really had, though, is that everybody was wearing pretty much the same thing for the entire episode. Although I guess this took place over the course of weeks or months, we don't really know. But yeah, it was obviously just a kind of a one-act play. But also, in the grand scheme of things, the world's second shortest act, where we got the robot for about 2.5 minutes, and then she just pushes it down the stairs too. So I gotta admire her gumption. Once she's made up her mind about doing something, she's like, "All right, I just keep doing it. It seemed to work before." So.
So this was directed by Don Siegel, who has a lot of good credits. Invasion of Body Snatchers, Dirty Harry, Escape from Alcatraz. So he's an accomplished... Can you imagine? Actually, I think his daughter is Katie Seagal of Married with Children fame. Yeah. So yeah, he's an accomplished director. There wasn't much here. Like you said, it's a one-room play. We got a lot of snap zooms early on, which was hilarious.
The reverse snap zoom where they pull out. This was particularly amazing.
Snap pull. Yeah. And then since you brought up my favorite Barbara moment, after Uncle Simon dies, she smashes all the bone china in the house, and then she runs to the window, pulls it up, and goes, "Hello, world, I'm back!" And it's so like over the top, like dramatic theater acting.
It was very strange.
That's my favorite.
I don't know why she went to one specific room to just smash all the china in there and then just joyfully celebrate out that one window in this huge mansion. But okay, fine. She just hated everything in that one particular room. Every time he ordered like a hot chocolate and a bone china rug.
Bone china. And if it's not hot, you scrabbling female ape, I'll throw it on the floor.
What a dick. I did like the way he said it, as if he was like half like... There's several parts of his lobes missing, I think, but he could still eloquate.
Well, so this was Cedric Hardwicke's last acting credit.
No, really?
I guess something came out after it, but he ended up dying the year after he did this one.
That's a shame, because he was generally quite entertaining, for as much as shit we give the character. He was really entertaining. I liked him.
Yeah, you called out Doctor Who earlier. I got a whole lot of First Doctor out of this guy with just how crotchety and cantankerous he was.
Yeah.
So.
I could see him as an American Doctor Who. That'd have been quite good.
So the two things in particular I like about this episode, besides the insults, that would be number one. Mm-hmm. Two things I like is we get a little bit of a climax halfway through. Normally we're waiting for the big twist at the end, but the twist was kind of in the middle. Like, what is this big experiment? They keep referring to it. They go down in shadow. And then when the door opens, we get the reaction shot of them first before they show the robot. So I think that was a nice little mix-up to put it in the middle. The other thing is the robot keeps saying, as in the coming weeks, as I mature, I'll start to manifest more human characteristics. And they come out as the man who created him, Uncle Simon. But you can't help but wonder how much of that is actually the robot and how much of that is her just going crazy and imagining that he's speaking in the voice and doing the things. Where do you land on that?
Yeah, I think this is face value. I think I think the sci-fi aspect of it is that he really did find a way to download his consciousness and find a way to live forever in spite of her, so that he could get the ultimate justice. So yeah, I think that she was 100% sane throughout the whole thing, and I think that's the way it's best. So
I give her 95%. Okay, I don't know if I can give her 100%.
Yeah, the lint was doing something to her hair. Yeah, so.
I think knowing the subtext of like Rod Serling's work and like things we've seen before. Like I'd be happy to give it like a good 30-40% that she's like interpreting it a different way. And you know, thing is, we're conditioned to TV now to go and like, oh, well, you can just interpret this any way you want. You got your own headcanon and all the kind of things, but it was literally more literal back in those days. So you're probably right. But I do like the sort of subtext to think that she's slowly going insane. I even postulated while we're watching, like early on, it's like, what if like Uncle Simon isn't real and she's just going crazy all along? This is just her way of torturing herself. And that kind of does apply a little bit because she could just fucking run away. She could just go. I know it's her uncle, but I suppose in back in those days there was a little bit more to say about looking after your family first, and less about.
It's more than that too. They firmly established that she's middle aged, and I think there was a really a strong prejudice against spinsters, middle aged women who are unmarried. They just wouldn't. There must be something wrong. Was the general thought at the time of somebody that's dedicated themselves, and I'm sure initially she started out with good intentions, and as things dragged on and he didn't die. She was legitimately stuck. So,
well, she would have, because they said she was there for 25 years. So if she came as a teenager, she would have been about 40, and was probably conscripted to help. And then at a certain point, the idea of his fortune falling to her is probably what made her stay. But you're right, Idle. She had a lot more fight early on, giving the zingers back to him, and then toward the end, she just snapped and gave up completely. So
that's horrible. That's as like I know you were saying before too. So this is like a divisive episode. This is like some people love it, some people hate it, and I think I can see why if you take it at face value and go, oh, it's a stupid robot, and this is our uncle's tricked, and then but I feel like and it tribute to the acting really, especially of the actress that plays Barbara. Like she does play it a lot more. You can feel the turmoil inside her. At no point does she go on about her day and then suddenly she snaps and goes, I can't take it, I'm just going to give up. You feel the slow degradation by the way she sort of her quips cease, and she certainly comes to realise that this robot is becoming an uncle all along, and it just defeats her. And it's sad, and but it's really good. How about we go on to one of our famous sections? How about a little bit of bread. For those not familiar, haven't watched us for a little while, bread is a moment in the episode that stands out to you, that really sort of singly focused the way that we were on that episode of Babel of DS9 by Cisco just going bread, that we couldn't stop talking about it. Dan, I haven't spoken to you for so long, and I'm really happy to know what your bread was for the episode.
Yeah, I guess if I had to pick one moment, I loved her cathartic just breaking of everything in the house. Like at that point, she knew that she wasn't going to be inheriting any of it, so just the wanton destruction, and I guess he was threatening all along to throw the hot chocolate on the floor, and she threw him on the floor, and she's like, no, I'm going to throw your shit on the floor now. Everything's very, very ground based. So
it was grounded, yes.
Yeah, very grounded episode.
Otto, what was your bread?
I'm going to be cruel and take Idle's bread. You're the only woman I know who looks like under her clothes she wore clothes. That was a good.
That's good. That's very good.
If I ever need to rap battle a woman for whatever reason, that's going to be top of my list.
Oh dear.
All right, Idle. What else can you scrounge up your male ape?
There's a lot of moments in this episode. I think it's definitely the reaction to the robot, because they spend a good minute or 2 minutes going back between this robot going, I am nearly fully functional, to zooming on their faces, and they just can't. They're not doing anything. They're just staring at it, just going like, it's a robot. And they're just sort of they linger on that for just, I don't know, an awkward amount of time. Very close up frame of Barbara's face as well. Maybe that's intentional. That's genius if it is. I definitely say that is my bread of the episode.
Well, the lawyer's glasses drop off his face when they do the first reveal, so that's a nice little bit. Yeah.
Yes, the reading of the lawyer go on.
While we're talking about the robot, my last little bit of trivia here. Robbie the robot in this episode is voiced by Vic Perrin, who's in a couple other Twilight Zones. He also has 4 Star Trek credits. He's the Keeper in the Menagerie, the Metron in Arena, the Gorn episode. He's Nomad in the Changeling. Yeah. And Tharn, the pacifist from the beginning of Mirror Mirror, who Kirk tries to intimidate and can't. So very minor roles, but in very memorable, well-known episodes. So you've probably seen a lot of his work before and didn't realize it.
So the voice for the robot was well, I see the initial voice of the robot until he turned into
Yeah.
the old
Right.
man.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Nomad. Nomad's a good episode, if I remember rightly. No, my memory plays tricks on me. It could be awful. Okay, how about... We haven't done this section for a long time. Gentlemen.
Well, if that's the best they could do, this should last about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. We will retrace our steps and figure out what's going on.
You've got 5 minutes. Do it.
All right, gentlemen, you have 5 minutes to come... Oh, no, you don't. You've got as much time as you need. How would you change the last 5 minutes of this episode? What would you tweak, in your own personal opinion, to either make it better, funnier, more dramatic? Start with you, Auto. What would you...
Idle.
Oh.
Idle, you start.
Oh, I need
You're
some
always
time.
throwing it to us.
Okay, that is true. I always check the truth. I think I'm going to go with the obvious one. I would have a reveal. I would have a third person walk in, and she'd be talking to the robot, and the robot would be saying nothing at all. And it's all in her head, and it's the obvious play. It's the Sixth Sense play, isn't it? It's like it's all going on inside her, and she's going mad by herself because her uncle has tortured her that much over the years that she can't escape him. She can't let go of this dominating figure she has over her life, so she has a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. And yeah, the robot. Yeah, it feels like it is the obvious one, but I feel like that is what I would do for the last 5 minutes. And then he just sort of kind of, I don't know. No, I don't think I change anything other than that. The actual plot remains the same. She gets defeated and just ends up spending the rest of her life serving this dumb robot, giving it hot chocolate it cannot drink. Go on, Auto.
Dan.
Oh, go down.
Okay.
I'm just not.
So she.
Look, the rule is I think of these ahead of time, so you guys get to go
Okay, that's
first,
fine, that's
lest
fair,
I
that's
steal
fair.
your
Okay.
ideas. That's fair.
Well, this one I was waiting for, and I knew it was going to be my last 5 minutes. From the moment she threw the robot down to the bottom of the stairs, the habitual stair thrower, Barbara, and he's laying down there and he goes, "I am done for, but look in the other closet."
Which, by the way, she shoves it down the stairs, and they don't do a good job with the framing. So you can see it stops tipping part way, and they just zoom out like they weren't going to trash the robot prop that they spent a lot of money on.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
100,000.
Yeah.
100,000 in 19. What was it? 1950 something.
56.
Oh,
Yeah.
hang on, I'm going to convert that now. Whilst Auto, you give us your
a lot
5
of money.
minutes.
Yeah, they kind of softballed it at the end. I thought they were going to. So the robot keeps saying, "I'm going to manifest more human characteristics as time passes." I thought they were going to go full body horror, and he's going to show up with like flesh on his face,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
or like a pair of human hands for gloves or something. So I thought they were really going to go naughty with that, but they kept it pretty PG, I guess.
That sounds very expensive. So.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to gum up this. There you go.
Yeah, $100,000 in 1956 is the equivalent to $1,187,676.47. $1 million.
Which,
That robot cost $1 million.
I mean, if you look at Hollywood accounting
Well,
nowadays, they spend lots of money. They spend like sailors on movies. So
Yeah, but I could make that out of, like, I could take the boiler off the wall and a glass cloche, and then that would be the robot. Okay, we're moving on. Gentlemen, start thinking of your rating code, because I'm going to need submissions, because...
I can show you my rating code.
Schiller rating 3.5. Associational rating norm -3. That's much too low a rating.
Was not accustomed to seeing an unsatisfactory rating on a member of my crew.
Okay, I am going to need we haven't done this for so long, and I'm so excited. This is literally the highlight of every time I do one of these reviews. Is I need to know, what is a rating code applicable? Has anyone got any ideas?
I
know
do.
you've got one, Auto.
do
Dan,
you?
have you got anything?
I'm sure there's a lot of insult-based ones, so I'll go with something non-linear, and I'll go how many wolves with an E out of 10. So.
There you go.
How many what, sorry?
Wolves with an E.
Wolves
Ian Wolf
with an E.
For Ian Wolf, yes.
Oh, right, yes.
Our
Okay.
guest du jour. I was going to just pick one of the insults
How many
because I'm a
wolves?
basic male image.
Okay. Dan, what is your rating and why?
So I'm going to bump this up a little bit, and it's only because of our kind of our current state of affairs. Because this was another, and it happens again and again with science fiction, that they wind up being strangely prescient in certain ways. And so this one in particular, with us interfacing with some sort of android type device that turns us into zombies slowly and just kind of lose all expression and do nothing but stare at it blankly. I was like, wow, okay, all right. Well, yeah, they had no idea, but they had a concept though, and that I think this episode, the actors all did a fair job. There wasn't anything stand out here that I'm really going to remember down the road. But it was better than average, and I appreciate it for what it is today. So I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5 what?
With wolves with an E.
There you go.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this a lot more than I thought. I spent first act more than second act, but I did appreciate that it did keep us guessing on what the actual twist was going to be. Oh, down.
I knew you'd like the insult part, Idle.
Yeah, that was very good. I really appreciated that, and especially you look like you wear clothes under your clothes. Very, very good. I really enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. I think I was worried when they revealed the robot. I thought, oh, they're just going to do a complete twist, and then there's just going to be something generic. Shame on me. I should have more faith in Rod Serling. I'm going to. What could I improve? And I think maybe a little bit more psychological. But you've got like a 20-minute, half an hour runtime. There's only so much you can put in there, and especially
usually 23.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm going to give this a solid 8. I think if anything, a longer runtime would probably benefit this episode to give it a little bit more meat on the robotic bones, as it were. But otherwise, I'm really happy with that episode. I think it was really good.
8 what?
8 wolves with an E out of 10.
Respect the prompt. Respect the gimmick, gentlemen.
Otto, how many wolves with an E are you giving this one?
Yeah, I'll stick with my pre-rating of 7. Wolves with an E. It is objectively hilarious. If you don't laugh during this episode, you got to adjust your circuits. That being said, it is a lot of dialogue. Some of it a little bit clunky to try to get the joke in. They only have the one set. They're very light on cast. I mean, if you don't count the robot, there's 3 people there. And they really could have pushed it further. They could have gone horror or existentialism or whatever, and they just kind of stayed in the kiddie pool. But I'm never gonna not enjoy it when it comes on. So
yeah.
The rewatchability, even though I know the jokes, is elevates it. So 7 wolves with an E out of 10.
I think it definitely is something to say, like, for actors that can pull a scene, like especially I forget his name, the guy that played Uncle Simon, the original one, not the robotic one.
Cedric Hardwicke.
Yeah, Cedric. He was very compelling to just watch. Like, the way he delivered his lines, slightly slurred, and that's due to his age, and obviously now I know his health condition as well. And also, for Barbara as well, they were a great pair to play off each other. Him with, like, the free-flowing insult, and her with sort of the very stoic, like, I just bitter... they played more like a married couple than like an uncle and a niece, which, given the age difference, you probably couldn't have played off very well unless she was some sort of mistress. But yeah, no, I think actors...
Where are you taking this episode?
I'm slowly moving on. Actors with good dialogue can move mountains is what I'm going to say on that one. And at the end of that brings this episode to an average of 7.2 wolves with an E out of 10. So between the 3 of us, this scored slightly higher than the Printer's Devil, slightly lower than Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? It's around that ballpark.
Which Dan hated, by the way.
I hated that one, yeah. And I can't believe we rated Printer's Devil that low. I love that one.
Wow. We all gave it like 8s and 9s. You gave it a 4. Wow, the disparity. Averages don't lie, though. So
we're still calibrating our scores.
We are. We're still working out.
I was just third eye blind to the spirit of the episode.
You're never coming back, Dan.
For those on stream,
take my cat.
We'll keep the cat.
No, the cat stays. The cat definitely stays.
Here we go.
For those on stream, please stick about. We're going to watch some Star Trek. Hey. Some classic Star Trek. For those who are watching us on YouTube, please check out the video. We'll watch it. We'll see you soon. Live long and prosper and enjoy some Twilight Zone.